All right, here we go. We're live. Breaking story. Ted Nugent, the Motor City Madman, claims that he has been banished from Facebook. So I'm going to read this story. This one's from metaladdicts.com. There's a bunch of news sites reporting on this, but he also posted a thing himself on Instagram. I guess he's still on Instagram, still on Twitter, X, that it's now called. So Ted said to his 554,000 Instagram followers, "I've been censored, banished from Facebook. You know why? Because the Nazis don't like my Schindler's List. Good over evil. Stand up for what you believe in. I am the great white buffalo. We look for storms. Let's get it on." Nugent, a fervent critic of major social media firms for their practices of banning users, is a staunch advocate for the former U.S. President Donald Trump. Notably, Trump was suspended from his social media handles in January 2021 due to concerns about public safety following the Capitol riot. Advocates for the tech sector consistently assert that private corporations shouldn't be coerced into accommodating viewpoints they disagree with. They also maintain that private proprietors should have full autonomy over their own assets. Furthermore, they acknowledge that social media platforms solely have the authority to determine which content they facilitate and display. Those who find their decisions disagreeable have the liberty to engage or consume content elsewhere. Last year, Trump initiated Truth Social, his own version of Twitter. He has since utilized his platform for various posts, including the propagation for further inaccuracies, particularly the persistent and unfounded allegation that Joe Biden's victory in the 2020 election was illegitimate. Okay, so I think Blabbermouth did a story too. They went a little bit more in depth with their thing. Talked about some of the history, the Jerry Falwell Hustler magazine thing. That was kind of interesting. I don't even know if I remember this, but it was proven in the Hustler magazine thing. Judgment, the U.S. Supreme Court voted unanimously in 1988 to overturn a $200,000 judgment awarded to Reverend Jerry Falwell for his emotional distress at having been parodied in Hustler, a pornographic magazine. The court system, the First Amendment, is about protecting the most offensive speech, the most unfriendly speech, the most uncommon speech. So finally, the truth came out. They're admitting they're censoring and denying First Amendment rights, which I think is against the law, Ted continued. The U.S. Constitution is the foundation of our law. I'm telling you, this is a pivotal moment. When I first started out on Facebook years ago, I don't think they really knew enough about Ted Nugent yet, because during the I guess it was in the 2000s, I had between 25 million and 36 million reach on Facebook. And then the big tech America haters finally figured out that I was a truth, logic, and common sense guy. So I went from 36 million to 3.6 million overnight. And now, even with 3.6 million on Facebook, they reduce it to 15, not 15 million, not 1,500, 15. Sometimes I'll make a statement that is irrefutably true, and they'll censor it and suppress it down to a couple dozen people. So big tech, here's a word from Good Families of America. Big tech, you people suck. Your fact checkers are psychopathic liars. Your fact checking is dishonest, and it's against the law, and it's against the First Amendment, and it trounces freedom of speech. Shame on you idiots at Facebook and big tech. You are bad, bad people. Because when you suppress freedom of speech, you're anti-human, you're anti-American. You are a voice and a power of communism for the greater good, and big tech hates the Constitution. I think those that are involved in the power of big tech, I think they look at the Constitution as toilet paper. I think we should look at them as toilet paper. So, okay, this goes on to say the same things in the other article about Trump and all that. Okay, so, this is an interesting one, right, guys? What do you think? I'm just curious, because I thought let's see if I can change this picture here. There we go. Yeah, there's my man. My other. So Ted Nugent was a guest on my show. I don't think he got too political. We talked mostly music. But I thought we said a lot of the censorship stuff in the 80s with Dee Snider. Remember, he went over to the courts and then talked about this and how, expressing yourselves. And they had John Denver come in too, and he was talking about how Rocky Mountain High was not about getting high. It was about a feeling of feeling good and such. I mean, that's music. Obviously, Ted Nugent I don't think they're censoring his music so much. It's more his thoughts. And I think that the Blabbermouth article used the term baseless conspiracy theories. I don't know if we know the real reason why if it was a certain post, or if it was a a bunch of posts, but let's just talk about baseless conspiracy theories. So, what are some examples of baseless conspiracy theories? Aliens, because I've had people on my show talk about UFOs, and I had a guy who I don't have his book in front of me, but he wrote an entire book about people who claim to have encounters with aliens and UFOs, and that's what he does for a living. Is that a baseless conspiracy theory? I mean, we don't have any hard, real solid evidence that there is aliens or UFOs. It seems like there's some stuff coming out recently, but I don't know that any of us have ever touched a UFO or an alien. So, is that a conspiracy theory? What about the existence of God? Is that a conspiracy theory? Which one is right? I don't know. I don't know if there is a God or if people who are atheists. I mean, I thought that's why we had the freedom of speech, so we could discuss these things and people can debate and say, yes, there is a God, or no, there isn't, or this is the God, or this. There's different versions of God, right? There's Muslim, there's Christians, there's different kinds of gods that people believe in. What about flat Earth? I mean, some of these conspiracies are laughable, yes, but there are people out there that truly believe there is a flat Earth. Are they going to be now censored from all the social media platforms because they believe in a flat Earth? I mean, because that's a lot of entertainment. I think that if we get rid of all the flat earthers, I mean, it's just where do you draw the line? I guess you can definitely have limits to free speech. You can't yell fire when there isn't a fire. You can't slander people or steal their ideas. But if they are your thoughts and your ideas, and you're just expressing those on social media, we're gonna start censoring those? I truly personally believe in listening to all ideas and letting people make their own decisions about the information presented. Now, there is a difference if we're talking about major news organizations. Um, they should be reporting the news, which should be facts. But I don't think Ted Nugent is the news. He's just simply a person with strong opinions and ideas. And you may agree or you may disagree, but I don't think opinions and ideas should be silenced. I don't agree with Ted Nugent on everything for sure, but I don't think he should be censored. I don't think extreme opinions on either side of politically should be censored. I also don't think Christians or Muslims or atheists or flat earthers or UFO people, I don't think any of that stuff should be censored personally. I don't think RFK Jr. or Bernie Sanders should be censored. It's the exchange of ideas that makes the world interesting. That's how we grow and learn from stepping out of our comfort zone. And they talk about, a phrase I've heard a lot recently is the science is settled. I think that was a term that's been used. Well, I mean, that really goes against the scientific method. If you look at the scientific method includes asking a question about something you observe, doing background research to learn what is already known about the topic, constructing a hypothesis, experimenting to test the hypothesis, analyzing the data from the experiment and drawing conclusions, and then communicating that result to other people. So, not saying Ted Nugent is a scientist by any means, but I think this just goes with the theme of what we're seeing. And it's kind of scary to me. So I don't know, maybe there's a logical explanation. Maybe he said something that was vastly inappropriate. It was hate speech, and maybe he deserves to be banned. I don't really know. From what his explanation is, it doesn't sound like he's explained exactly what it was that got him banned, but I'm just seeing a pattern here, and it's concerning for sure. So that's the story. Ted Nugent banned from Facebook. Let me know what you think in the comments, and yeah, be careful out there what you say. You might be the next one to be banned.